Surprising medieval roots of today's favorite foods. Medieval monks invented champagne. Gingerbread was once covered in gold leaf. Coffee's discovery involved hypergoats and all-night Quran studies. We often think of medieval food as bland and unappetizing. In reality, it was often rich, varied, and full of flavors we still enjoy today. Gingerbread has its origins in 13th century Europe. It wasn't always the soft cookie we know today. Medieval gingerbread was a luxury item. It was made with honey, breadcrumbs, and exotic spices. Ginger and saffron were common ingredients. The dough was pressed into elaborate molds and often covered in gold leaf. This made it a prized gift among the elite. Coffee's origin story is rooted in the 10th century. Legend tells of an Ethiopian goatherd named Kaldi. He noticed his flock behaving erratically. They had eaten red beans from a certain bush. Kaldi took the beans to a local imam. The imam brewed them and found himself able to stay awake all night. He used this time to study the Quran. This tale is likely not true. However, the first true coffee drink does seem to have originated in 15th century Yemen. Sufi monks used it to stay alert during all-night prayer sessions. By the way, sparkling wine wasn't always the refined beverage we know today. Its origins date back to the early 16th century. This was more than a century before Dom Perignon supposedly invented champagne. The first intentionally carbonated wines were produced in France. A Benedictine abbey in Languedoc was responsible. However, the process was dangerous. Too much carbon dioxide could cause bottles to explode. This sometimes set off chain reactions. Entire cellars of wine could be destroyed. Meanwhile, waffles, a beloved breakfast treat, have monastic roots. Their ancestors were pastries called nebula and oublies. These were central to early medieval monastic diets. They weren't like our sweet waffles. These were simple wafer cakes. They were made of eggs, milk, butter, and flour. Sometimes they were filled with cheese, but they were generally not sweet. French churches had a special Pentecost tradition. They would order thousands of oublies. When clergy read about the apostles receiving the Holy Spirit, monks had a surprise. They would rain down oublies from the church rafters. Even the candy cane has roots in medieval Europe. Originally, they were simple sugar sticks. They were used as medicine. Medieval Europeans believed sugar could treat various ailments. They considered it a spice. These medicinal candies were called penida in Latin. This later became pennets in English. The familiar hook shape came later, possibly invented by a choirmaster at Cologne Cathedral in the 17th century.